We're going to be looking at a lot of Lego sets in the middle section of our mentions and enthusiasm score table. And of course, I'm going to be telling you which sets I will be picking up for investing and which sets I will be passing on. And since these are Lego sets in the middle section of our table, some of them have a lot of buzz, but some of them are really splitting the Lego investing community, where some of the YouTubers that I'm watching are all about the sets and some of them are avoiding them completely. And of course, at the end of this video, I'll give you my top 3. Hey everyone, welcome back again to KDX Bricks Analytics. And again, I am Kevin, or I guess instead of again, I am still Kevin. Another video looking at more sets on our August 1st to September 30th table. 2 videos ago, we looked at the top 25 sets, and then the last video, we looked at the next 25 sets. And in this video, we are looking at the middle about 50 or so sets. Take a look at my last couple videos to get an explanation of what all of the data is on this table and how I collect it and what I'm doing with the videos on my channel. With that said, we're going to jump right into it. First set is 21054, the White House. 3 mentions, only an enthusiasm score of 2.3, a very long shelf life, $100 for just under 1,500 pieces. It's a really nice looking set. Some people are really in on this set. A lot of people are pretty hesitant. If you can get a really deep discount, then I think it's totally worth it. And that's what I'm looking out for. Otherwise, I'm going to steer clear. Some of the landmark series are doing pretty well, and some of the more recent ones are not. So looking at older ones, this goes all the way back to 2009. Empire State Building, $20 up to $75. The original White House from 2010, $50 to close to $100. And if we scroll through these older ones, we can see that a lot of them are doing quite well, like Big Ben, $30 to over $80. United Nations, $50 to $125. The Louvre and the Flatiron Building are doing pretty well. Lincoln Memorial is doing really well. But then we get into some of the more recent ones. The Capitol Building, which is probably the best comparable for the White House set, it's doing okay from $100 to $130. A lot of people got this set around $70, so that would be really good. But then sets that retired more recently, like the Empire State Building, is down about $20. Trafalgar Square is flat, and this one retired 2 years ago. And then the rest of these are still on the shelves. A superhero set, 76255, the New Guardian Ship. 3 mentions with an E-score of 2.3 also. $100 for 1,100 pieces. This is a really cool looking set. I love the color scheme with the teal and pink contrast on the mostly dark bluish gray. And then the minifigures are really good, especially Adam Warlock. Looks amazing. The other 3 look good, but they have the same torso. And even though 4 of the 5 minifigures are exclusive, the same torso multiple times will certainly hurt the value. But with all that said, I am very high on this set because it only has a 9-month shelf life, and it is really unique looking. 10273, the Haunted House. 3 mentions with an E score of 2. Not a set I'm excited about at all. $300 for 3,200 pieces. Probably reasonably priced, but just a huge price tag to start out with. And the cool thing about these fairground sets is all of the motion that you can see, whether it's a Ferris wheel, carousel, or roller coaster. But with this one being the drop elevator, if it's open like this, then you can kind of see the elevator go up and down. But if it's closed up, you really can't see much of the ride itself. I think that's going to hurt it. Also, the colors don't look great, even though it is supposed to be a haunted Halloween theme. I don't like the olive green color as the main building color. I did want to show you the other Fairground collection sets that are doing well, like the Carousel, $250 to almost $2,000. Obviously, that's pretty unique, but even the Fairground Mixer is a very popular set. The Ferris wheel and the most recent Carousel are doing well. Roller coaster isn't doing anything yet, and it probably won't just because it's so big, but I just don't see how the Haunted House will fit in and attract a higher price point like these other sets have. 10293, Santa's Visit, also 3 mentions with an E-score of 2. $100, almost 1,500 pieces. This is a really nice looking set, but it seems like the sets in the Winter Village collection are losing a lot of buzz and not doing too well in retirement, at least the last couple. So I am not interested in this set. 31132, the Viking Ship, and unfortunately that Midgard Serpent that adds cost and doesn't really add any value. The ship looks fantastic. I love the brick built sail and all the colors along the hull and the shields. I wasn't too excited about this set previously for investing, even though there's always one or two 3-in-1 creator sets that do really well in retirement. I was thinking this one might do slightly okay, but probably not worth looking at. But then Lego just came out with this Viking Village idea set that looks absolutely fantastic. And so naturally I searched up some pictures of the Viking ship alongside of the Viking Village, and that is a really good look. And scale wise, I actually think that is pretty close. Those Viking ships were pretty big, and both sets are minifigure scaled, and so I think that looks good. And let's look at some additional pictures of the two sets together. Yeah, that's a pretty good representation of the overall scale. This ship might be slightly big, but I still like it together. And then here are some really good pictures with some close-ups. Yeah, that looks very nice there. And as shown, the hull of the ship and the walkway from the Viking Village match up pretty well. There isn't a gangway or anything, but it makes sense that minifigures would be able to work their way from this path onto the ship. Disney Brickheads 40477, Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Per my last video, I think the Disney Brickheads typically will do well, but this one just looks too plain to me. I'm not interested in this one. Boba Fett's Throne Room 75326. Less than a 2-year shelf life, but only a 3.8 because it's $100 for 732 pieces. So very, very expensive. This set was on sale at Costco and a couple other places for as low as $50 for a pretty long period of time. So a lot of people got this set really cheap. It's likely being over hoarded. As a result, the buzz lately around this set has been pretty negative overall. I actually think it's pretty good. You have to get it on a very good discount, but the build is really nice. Yes, Book of Boba Fett isn't a great show, but this building and the characters and the scene is pretty cool, and then the minifigures are outstanding. Boba Fett looks great. Bib Fortuna is awesome. Obviously the hairpiece is fantastic, but the face is good, and look at all the detail on the torso and the legs. The Thelan Dancer obviously catches everyone's eye with the hairpiece. Corrin looks fantastic, and then the Gamorrean Guard is really cool. 75338 Ambush on Ferrex, another set from a recent Disney Plus Star Wars mini-series. Pretty short shelf life at 1.5 years for this set, which is good, but it is $70, 679 pieces, but the price to part ratio is not a good representation in my opinion. It's pretty small, and it seems like it's very expensive, but it is a Target exclusive, which I think will help this set a lot in retirement. But the main reason I think this set will do very well in retirement is because these 3 minifigures look great, and the characters are awesome. So Luthen's minifigure is very good. Andor's is fantastic. And then Cyril, I love that. Some people complained about the brighter blue, but I actually think that fits, and I like that it's like that. That way it's a standout character. Disney did a really good job casting these actors, and it was a really good first season. I hope they make more. Next up is the Guardian Ship 76193. 3 mentions with enthusiasm score of 2. The last bunch of sets that I've talked about have all had the same scores, and then the next one we're going to talk about, actually the next 2 that we're going to talk about also have the same 3 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2. At $160, I really don't like this set. I know it has 1,900 pieces and the minifigures are decent, but to my eyes, it's just not a set that I really like looking at. I think the orange is kind of cool, but it just doesn't fit for me. So not my favorite, not a lot of buzz around this set. Speed Champion 76901, the Toyota Supra. Originally thought it was going to retire at the end of last year, now retiring at the end of this year. So long 2.5 year shelf life for a Speed Champion set. I like that it's a yellow car. There aren't many of those in Speed Champions. The exclusive minifigure looks good as always. If you can get a really good discount, I think it'll do okay in retirement because Speed Champions seem to be evergreen sets for the most part, and it seems like for me it's a good theme that I just like to play the field on. 75369, the Boba Fett Mech, pretty new, not retiring at the end of this year. Of the Star Wars mechs, this by far is my favorite one. It looks kind of cool, and the Boba Fett minifigure is fantastic. Such great detail. One issue with this set is that it is $16 and it's already been on sale for $13, so maybe they're not selling too well. Maybe the buzz is low, and that's an opportunity to pick up some when other people are not going to pick them up. But since it's not retiring anytime soon, i.e. it doesn't have the R in parentheses next to the set number and name, then I'm not watching it too closely yet. 10292, the Friends Apartment, $180, 2.5 year shelf life. I am absolutely out on this set. It got 3 mentions with an E-score of 1.7, but if we look at Central Perk that retired last year, it is flat at $60 to $64. I don't see either of these sets doing well. 40426, the 2-in-1 Christmas wreath, 3 mentions with a 1.7. I despise this set. It looks like Skeletor Wreath to me. It is just so thin in two ways. The ring itself is so thin in diameter or width, but also the foliage in the ring is so thin. Just not a good look for me. One I'm absolutely passing on. 21337 Table Football, this poor idea set that just didn't work out. It got one mention with an E-score of 1. I think it's the first time it's got a positive mention. It has many mentions against investing and reselling, which have been in other videos. And the one mention was because this set is now on sale for 40% off at $150. And the person who mentioned it said, hey, if it gets to 60 or 70% off, now we've got some opportunity. I'm assuming that's not going to happen. Not a set that I'm looking at. 76400, the Hogwarts Carriage and Thestrals, another set that I'm not interested in. Some people have talked about it because the baby Thestral, but I don't think it looks very good. So I don't like it. And it's $20. Seems overpriced. 10290, the pickup truck, 2 mentions with a full enthusiasm score of 3.0. I like this set, but I don't love it. I am definitely skipping it for investing. The dimensions and shaping of the hood and the front fenders just don't work for me. If we click on sub-theme vehicles and look at previous similar sets, oh wait, here's some of the older vehicles. Oh, these are from the late 80s and 90s. They're so nostalgic. I love these old sets. The Octane truck. Let me scroll up to the ones that I intended to look at, but those old sets are really great. Here we go. Some comparables. The T1 camper van, 120 to 132, not great. Now the Ferrari F40 doing really well, but to me this set is very stylized and specialized, whereas this is just a plain old sports car. And then if we look at some of the other stylized sets, they're not doing great. So definitely a set that I am skipping. 40646 Daffodils, 3 mentions with an E-score of 2. Short 1-year shelf life for this set. I think it's great. The Botanical sets look fantastic. Of course, a lot of them have really long shelf lives other than this one. So I really don't know how the line is going to do overall. But this one looks good. And if we go to eBay, it's already selling for almost double MSRP shipped. I think that's a pretty good sign. 10302 Optimus Prime. Also 2 mentions with an E-score of 3. For some reason, this is just not my favorite set. I will look at it more closely when we get a retirement date for it, but I'm not looking that closely right now. Vango Starry Night 21333, also an enthusiasm score of 3.0. $170. I think it's a pretty good price point, and this set looks really, really pretty and is really well done by Lego. Very likely to be another idea set that will do extremely well in retirement, but I'm not looking too closely now until we get a retirement date. Boba Fett's Microfighter, cool little set. Some of the Star Wars Microfighters have done well in the past. This Boba Fett minifigure also looks really good, even though it's not canonically correct with all the different color choices, but I still like the minifigure. And the one thing I do like about this microfighter is that the minifigure can fit and be closed up inside of the microfighter, which is pretty rare for a Star Wars microfighter set. So I think this one, in terms of return on investment, could do well in retirement, but it's a pretty low price point. The Princess Leia Bouche Helmet 75351, also an enthusiasm score of 3. I'm sure this set does well in retirement. I will look at it next year, but it is so ugly. If we look at some pictures from the movie of when she's wearing it, you can see it's pretty comparable to the Lego design, which is great, but wow, this thing is ugly. I mean, this helmet is the thing of nightmares in my opinion. 76917, the Fast and Furious Nissan Skyline, a 2023 Speed Champion set, so it's up to the $25 price point. It's been on sale for $20 on Amazon recently. This is a great set, and it will obviously pair well with this set that is retiring at the end of this year. And on Amazon, Dom's Charger is actually out of stock, and who knows if it will come back. 10289, the Botanical's Bird of Paradise. This is the first large botanical set that is retiring. Pretty long shelf life. The other botanical sets are even longer. This one got 2 mentions with an E-score of 2.5. Of all the botanical sets, this is probably the least popular, even though I think it actually looks pretty good. And I think this one is a Target exclusive, but people have been able to get it for $60 or $70 from time to time. Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone, another idea set. This one also has 2 mentions with an E-score of 2.5, and I do not like this set at all. Only one minifigure. The rest of the characters are brick built, and it is very open in the back, so it doesn't really feel like a complete diorama to me. It reminds me more of the Mario play sets, which are great for play, but obviously not for investing and reselling. reselling. Maybe it'll do okay, maybe I'm missing out, but it's not one that I like. 42118, the Technic Gravedigger Monster Jam truck, also an E-score of 2.5. And I think these monster trucks are really cool. They've made 4 or 5 of them now. And if you can get them for a pretty good discount, I can see them being pretty popular in retirement. Not something I'm paying a lot of attention to though. 76968 for Privet Drive. It's a really nice set, but it's $80, which is very expensive. And it's been on the shelves since 2020. I don't see it doing well. 21330 Home Alone, not retiring yet, but a very popular set. Yes, it's $300, but 4,000 pieces. Pretty much a modular building, but it is Christmas themed. It is movie themed. A lot of good stuff with this set. It has been out since 21, probably going to retire at the end of 24. So medium to long shelf life. If it goes beyond that, then it could be really problematic for investing and reselling. But if we look at the inside, a lot of great details and a lot of Easter eggs referencing key moments in the Home Alone movie. 43222, the newest Disney castle. And this one and the last few sets have all had 2 mentions with an E-score of 2.5. I'm avoiding the Disney castles because it seems like Lego is going to keep making another one after each previous one retires. But this one is fantastic looking. I like the fireworks that are built in, and I love the peach color. That's what I'm going to call it. When we compare that to the Orlando castle, it is pretty comparable in color, and I think Lego did a great job with this set. The rest of the sets in the video all have 2 mentions with an E-score of 2, 1.5, or 1. Just follow along on the table. I'm not going to call them all out. But next up is 10265, the Ford Mustang. I love this set. The effort and design that Lego's been putting into these icons vehicles, the sports cars and the muscle cars, is really exceptional. This one unfortunately has a very long shelf life, but there is good company for this set, so you can make a little collection over the years. We've got the new classic Corvette that just came out. We have the Chevy Camaro that came out last year, looks fantastic. And then we have the Porsche 911 that also looks fantastic. If Lego keeps making a few more in this sub theme, if you will, then I think they all could do well in the long run. And it seems like they're flying under the radar a little bit. The Lego Art Batman, many people are not interested in the flat Lego art sets, myself included. So maybe it's flying under the radar a little bit. Boba Fett Starship, great looking set, but Lego has made many of these slave ones, and Lego will make many more most likely, so I am gonna pass. 75318, the Child, an easy pass for me. 75324, Dark Trooper Attack. A lot of people are hating on this set. I'm one of the few people that really likes this set. Under a 2-year shelf life. Yes, it is crazy expensive at $35 for the 166 pieces, but people have been able to get it on a pretty good discount. For me, I like it for 2 reasons. The design and display really sucks me into the scene in Mandalorian, which I love that scene. And yeah, it's just a hallway, but it looks really cool. And then the Dark Trooper minifigures look fantastic. There's only one in one other set. It's the Imperial Light Cruiser, I think. And you get 3 in this set. I grant that nobody's going to army build to the extreme with these, but they still look really good. And this set will fit in with the Star Wars diorama sub theme. If you can get it on a really good discount, I think it'll do well in the long run. Speaking of dioramas, here's 75329, the Death Star Trench Run diorama. That 1.5 year or so shelf life that the first 3 dioramas are all going to have. This one is micro scale, no minifigures, so probably the least popular, but I still think that all 3 of them are going to do pretty well. Yes, all of them are very expensive. You have to get them on good discounts, which we've been able to do. Now into a Harry Potter set, the Hospital Wing 76398. Looks great, but not one I'm interested in for investing. This Monkey Kid set, 80039, the Heavenly Realms. This set is fantastic looking. I haven't found it yet on the discount that I would want to be able to get it, but I think with the right discount, this one could do very well. And don't forget that it closes up into a really visually striking scene. 10313, the Wildflower Bouquet. It looks great, but I have no idea how long it'll be on the shelves. All right, now this set is interesting. 40658, the Millennium Falcon Holiday Diorama. It just came out. It's only $30 for the 282 pieces and the 3 minifigures, and then also the BB-8 and the Porg. It is expected to retire at the end of this year, so that would just be 3 or 4 month shelf life, which obviously is great for a Star Wars set. Maybe it will sit on the shelves a little bit through and after the holidays, which would hurt it a little bit. Depends on how much Lego decided to produce this set. So I think I'm going to grab a few, but there are a couple of downsides. One, this is from the sequel trilogy, so not the most interesting or exciting minifigures, but they are in their holiday sweaters, which look fantastic. And the other issue is these irregular non-90-degree angles on the sides that make it harder to display this set right alongside all of the other Star Wars diorama sets. But I'm still interested, and I still think I'm going to pick a few of them up. 75328, the Mandalorian Helmet, still no retirement date, and it just looks plain and flat to me, even though helmets typically do well. 76178, the Daily Bugle. If this set retires at the end of 24 and has a 3-year shelf life, then I think it will do very well in retirement. The minifigures are fantastic. It's a really tall build, a lot of great interior detail. But if it goes beyond a 3-year shelf life, then I think we're going to have to take a much closer look and figure out if there is going to be enough demand for it in the secondary market to make it worth it. The new Hogwarts Castle and Grounds, this micro scale, much smaller than the large $400 Hogwarts micro scale set. It looks great. Not my favorite. Too early to really know for investing. A Ninjago Dragon retiring at the end of the year. 71774, Lloyd's Golden Ultra Dragon. I rarely invest in Ninjago, even though some of the dragons have done well in the past. This one just doesn't interest me. I think there's too much gold on it, and it just washes out. It's not pleasing to look at. 75330, Dagobah Jedi Training Diorama, down here with 2 mentions and only an E-score of 1.5. Now the cumulative table, it is doing much better, but this is just in the last couple of months. And of course, I'm very disappointed to see that, because you all know that I love this set. It's $90. You got to get it on a steep discount. I've got a few, and I think I got them for around 55. I don't exactly remember. Less than 2 years on the shelves, and Lego's done a great job with this diorama sub-theme that they've now produced 5, and 2 more are coming out. A lot of us, myself included, are hoping that these become the next helmet sets in terms of performance in retirement, but here are the next 2 that are already listed on Brickset, and the images should be coming soon. So Lego is still going with these, and I think they are fantastic. Great details. They're minifig scale, most of them, so you get minifigures with them, and I'm just sold completely on these. 75335, the brick built BD1. I think it's for some people, but not one that I'm interested in. 76181, Batmobile, the Penguin Chase. For $30, I am passing on this set. 76900, the Koenigsegg Jesko or Jesko, and it's the last of the Speed Champion sets on this table that are retiring at the end of this year. I agree, this one is not the most interesting to look at, but I'm still going to pick a few up because, like I said, I like to play the field on the Speed Champion sets. 21336, the Office, so it's the latest in the sitcom set slash scene sets. Although this one came out not too long ago, I am very hyped about this set. Obviously, if it has a super long shelf life, then forget about it, but The Office is one of the most watched shows in history, and it's one of my favorite shows too, so I'm a little bit biased, but I hope that there's some buzz, and this one is a good investment opportunity when it gets a retirement date. A dream set, the Nightmare Shark Ship 71469, and I am intrigued by this entire theme. I did a whole video on them when they first came out. Obviously, with them being so new, no reason to go out and buy any of them now, but let's see where they go and where they evolve to and what kind of buzz they get, and I think some of them could do pretty well, this one in particular. 75357, the Ghost and Phantom 2 from Ahsoka. The minifigures are fantastic. The ship actually does not do anything for me for some reason, and I think the color is just too broken up. It looks a little bit like a Jackson Pollock to me, and there are just way too many studs for me. $160 for the 1,400 pieces. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hype around it for investing and reselling, but not my favorite right now. 40174, Lego Chess, the Tuk Tuk 40469, the Brickheads Lion Dance Guy 40540, the Monkey Kid Dragon of the East 80037. This set is intriguing to me because it is so colorful, including the figures, and it is a dragon. Sometimes dragons do pretty well, but there's a lot of unique stuff about this set. I actually got one recently just for myself. And now for my 3 favorites from all the sets that we talked about in this video. My 3rd favorite is the Viking Ship, all because of the new Viking Village that is coming out. My 2nd place set is Ambush on Ferrex. I think it's flying under the radar because it's so expensive and because it is a Target exclusive, but the popularity of the show is pretty high, and I think it will only increase when Disney Plus comes out with another season. And then my number 1 set, surprise, surprise, is the Jedi training diorama, and I already showed you how much I love the diorama sets. That's a wrap on this video. Thanks for watching this one too, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else.